abortion?
Unfortunately, our former president and this want-to-be next president really think that the key to winning the presidency is to talk about abortion all the time, and not in the right way, in the wrong way. They think the right way is the right way. No, the right way is the wrong way. By basically saying, you're not conservative enough.
Well, I am interested to see if Trump, my thought is if Trump really wanted.
Carrie, great to see you.
Thank you. My thought is this, and about Trump, is that if he really wanted to win, he'd have to go to the left and just own being pro-choice and just say, all right, I'm not going to get the evangelicals. But the truth is that DeSantis went too far. And now I think he's gotten more niche. There's people that just will not go for that.
I really, I mean, again,
I won't go for that.
Well, I was thinking about at length exactly what it was that, what was DeSantis's game plan? Because we're usually pretty good at kind of figuring out exactly what these guys are up to.
I am surprised. I was surprised that he did that. I thought that it would just be too negative towards his idea of running for president. I mean, it is very much not a winner in terms of subject matter on national scale. And I really thought it was a bad move. So now the fact that he's sort of baiting Trump, it's interesting to see what Trump's going to do with this, because Trump has never really taken a stand. He always skirts the issue. He says things like,
let's get it back to the
well, the people that are pro-choice are radicals, or that overturning Roe versus Wade was good. But he says things without really stating his opinion on whether or not he supports a woman's right to choose.
Double K, I will give you Bill.
He speaks out of both sides.
I will give you Bill after we do this segment. But we definitely have to pull up this article because I think it's very important. It definitely is very relevant here because The Hill, I mean, again, a lot of outlets covered this, but here it is in The Hill. DeSantis takes swipe at Trump over 6-week abortion ban in Florida. It's like, we've been so used to this governor making all the right moves, no pun intended.
Politically.
But now this really is the hill he wants to die on.
And he will.
But I figured out exactly why he thinks he needs to die on this hill. Because ultimately what DeSantis is doing is very much what Buttigieg, even though Buttigieg was clearly a Manchurian candidate of sorts back in 2020, is he's going all in on Iowa. He is banking on this idea that he is going to win Iowa and use that as a springboard to carry momentum to become the nominee. That's the only reason, because the evangelical vote in Iowa is very strong. And history has shown over the course of the history of the GOP primary, particularly in the last 20 years. I mean, think about it. You're talking,
I don't know.
You had George W. Bush, who won it in 2020 or 2000. You had Mike Huckabee, Mr. Super Sky Angels conservative in 2008, win the primary. You had Rick Santorum, who's like, I got you one better when it comes to my Christian faith, in 2012. And then, of course, you had Slimeball Ted Cruz in 2016.
So what we're saying is, and what's interesting is we've had a lot of really good populist guests from Iowa, and I know that state is a very Rust Belt working class,
100%.
like middle America state. But apparently there is this sort of fringe evangelical group that
especially
apparently
on the GOP side.
Well, right, that apparently has sort of hijacked their party politics, because
Correct.
That does not sound representative to me of the good people of Iowa. It just doesn't. It sounds sort of like how Florida is not being represented.
DeSantis, when he was basically lining himself up, let's say a year ago, before the whole culture war stuff really started to take off, he looked like the type of guy who was literally going to walk into New Hampshire and win the state. Now, what he's banking on is, I'm going to win Iowa, I'm going to be competitive in New Hampshire, and I'm going to win South Carolina. That's what he's thinking. That's his mindset, because there is no other explanation for this behavior.
Well, he's crunched the numbers. His people have crunched the numbers, and they realize that at the end of the day, the Democrats have nobody, and all he really has to do is win the primary. Because at the end of the day, the Democrats have nothing.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis went after former President Trump over his stance on abortion restrictions, saying Tuesday that Trump dodged questions about whether he would sign a bill similar to the 6-week abortion ban signed by DeSantis.
Yep.
It's as if to say, let's here's the difference between the messaging that Trump put out there versus the message that DeSantis put out there, and why DeSantis is infinitely more dangerous on this particular issue. Trump specifically said, let's leave it up to the states. Let the states decide what they want to do with abortion. And you know what's been happening since the states have decided on abortion? What do you think's been happening? They've been codifying Roe in all blue and red states. And the only states that are not codifying Roe are the ones that are not allowing it to be put up for a vote. So that tells you all you need to know, whereas somebody like DeSantis doesn't give a shit what the people want. That's frankly what a dictator does, which is to say, I'm judge, jury, and executioner here, and I'm going to tell you what you're going to take. And that is because of regard. Again, he's Catholic. And most Catholics, my father's Irish Catholic. I grew up in that environment. I could tell you right now that this is in no way, shape, or form how the Catholics operate. They are very religious in their own lives, much like my best friend's mother, who, when I go visit, decides to hand me a rosary and anti-abortion card with a dead fetus. So that's how crazy they are. But do they take it to the extent that evangelicals take it? Which is to basically say, F your politics, F what you believe. I don't give a shit. I am taking the right away from you. And that is how the evangelical right thinks.
If you really want to know where the dividing line is, it's in the criminalization process.
100%.
Because people that are pro-life do not necessarily want women and doctors to be criminalized just because they don't agree with somebody's decision. They don't like it, but that doesn't necessarily mean they think we should take away their rights. That's just the way it is.
The bill in Florida, which DeSantis signed last month, has infuriated abortion rights advocates. And keep in mind, as we talk about, he did this under the cover of night at the beginning of the weekend. He did it when he didn't want anyone to know about it or even talk about it. So he clearly didn't want the fanfare because he knows it's a shit idea. But in his mind, and listen, is it possible that he's simply doing this because he wants to be president and he thinks this is the pathway to do it, but wouldn't actually do this if he got to the White House? Maybe so, but let's not take that chance.
Not a good plan.
Not a good plan. No. Very, very stupid. And unfortunately, people will fall for that type of crap. DeSantis says offense against Trump on abortion comes after the former president took a victory lap on the issue during his CNN town hall last week, taking credit for the fall of Roe v. Wade, after confirming Supreme Court justices that solidified its conservative majority.
Not a
which
bad argument.
Is true. But when pressed on whether he would sign a national abortion ban, as many anti-abortion groups are demanding, Trump would not commit. And you know what? He wouldn't do it.
I reject the Hill using the term anti-abortion.
What would you use?
Forced birth or anti-choice. Because when you say anti-abortion, again, that means that there's pro-abortion people. And that's just a false thing. That's just not a thing.
I definitely agree.
I find the whole thing disgusting. And I'm just not having it.
I just think for those that are trying to figure out exactly where DeSantis' head is at and why he's doing this, the only sensible explanation is that he's going all in to win Iowa. That's his plan.
And hopes that in and of itself
springboard him, and that the numbers will, again, momentum is very fickle in politics.
But it really matters the most.
It really does. Like, do not underestimate how contentious this primary could actually become from a momentum standpoint if DeSantis wins Iowa, is very competitive in New Hampshire, and somehow wins South Carolina. There's no question he could win the nomination. That's what he's banking on. He's banking on this idea that I'm going to get to Super Tuesday against Trump, and I'm going to have a coin flip's chance of winning this thing.
And then again, what my thing is that the Democrats have no resistance. So all he has to do is beat Trump. Thanks for watching. If you want to support our mission to transform politics into service, please like this video, subscribe, follow us on social media, and consider joining our Patreon, where you'll get early access to our interviews as well as other exclusive content. Links are in the description. Peace out.